Okay, for measures 10 through 21, or part 2 of this piece, this is a section which will probably make or break your audition. This, in my opinion, is the trickiest part simply because there's a change in meter and a change in dynamic. These two changes kind of create a contrasting section from the opening and the closing of the piece. This is more subdued, a bit more accurate. There's a switching back between duple and triple meter. So you really got to nail this section if you want to nail the audition. So what we need to first think about here is the change in meter. You're going from duple, or groups of 2, to triple, groups of 3. So after bar 9, what I would do is, during bar 9, start to subdivide in triplets before you start measure 10. So for instance, if this is bar 9, I'll just play one note here and start counting. Instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4, the counting I would do inside my head, of course, is going to be this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That way, that'll make that transition clear between the duple and triple. Because what else are you going to be doing? You just got a bunch of rests. You might as well make it work for you. Subdivide bar 9 into triplets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or however you count triplets, doesn't matter. That will help you with your meter change. Now, the next goal here is this drop in dynamic level. If you have to nail this section to make this audition really work, this has to be mezzo piano, but it needs to have clarity and rhythm. Here's what I would do. For more clarity at mezzo piano, piano volume, I'll snap my sticks up just a little bit, or I'll use a bit more arm. I think I actually did a little bit of both when I play this all the way through. This is what I mean. If this is just regular legato playing, a little bit of snap looks like this. By snapping up, we're going to get a slightly more staccato articulation. That creates a clearer articulation. A little bit more arm might look like this. So by using a little arm, maybe it's a little shoulder, I'm able to pull the stick out of the head and create a bit more of an articulate sound. Now, your technique may be different than mine, which is fine. Just figure out a way to play with clarity of sound and clarity of articulation at that dynamic level. That's really going to make that section very crisp. So we've covered the dynamic change, we've covered the change in meter. Phrasing. For the first 4 or 5 bars of this section, we want to create a long phrase. So I'm going to play this phrase I'm talking about right now, and hopefully it'll come out and be clear what I'm talking about. With those bars, you could just play it straight, and that'll be fine. But for an all-state edition, you're not looking for fine. You're looking for really musical. So you need to create a bit of a shape where it's going to get maybe a little bit louder and then back down. It needs to be subtle. Okay? Don't go and play this. Don't overplay the section, but just tastefully and musically create a bit of shape there. Otherwise, it's just a kid playing a bunch of rhythm. You want to make some music out of it, make a musical phrase. Let's see. So that covers phrasing for this section. Sticking, my general rule of thumb is I'll do whatever I have to do to get the best sound in the easiest physical way. The best sound is number one, and getting it done is a secondary goal. So in general, I will avoid crossovers whenever possible. Whenever I cross over, my tone always sounds weird. I always screw my stroke up somehow. In this entire piece, I think I cross over twice for the entire thing, maybe 3 times. So eliminate crossovers if you can. It's one of those things in an audition, a crossover is something that could go wrong. So I would eliminate any crossovers, and at this tempo, I think that's perfectly reasonable. The last thing with this section would be this pianissimo roll at the end of the phrase here. After you play this, this drum is still going to be ringing. The 29 will still be ringing. Let it ring. Don't shut it down yet. If it's still ringing, you can catch the resonance of the drum and start that pianissimo roll. So, for instance, by starting at the dynamic level that the drum's already vibrating at or close to it, that is going to be a more subtle beginning to the roll. It will sound really pianissimo, and then you can build up from there to mezzo forte.